what is your experience of the cost of living crisis as a business leader?
So I think if we look back to, kind of 2022, we had inflation at 11%, we had high inflation for quite a long time. As a result of that, all of our business overheads have risen quite significantly, as have everyone else's. So all the different things like, office rent, the cost of power, water, insurances, software licenses, etc. Everything's kind of gone up. We've passed on a small amount of that to our clients, but we haven't passed on the vast majority of that. Thus far, we've kind of soaked up, so that's really hit our margins quite hard. And also, we've needed to, in order to remain competitive within the ecosystem, offer the high quality of staff and service that we want to customers. We've also seen, we've had to increase wages to retain our staff, and then that's kind of put even further sort of pressure on us. So obviously, kind of this year we started to see inflation down to more around the sort of 4% mark, which is definitely is welcome and is a help. But I think that things are definitely kind of tough, and I think kind of keeping a real focus on cost control is something that's kind of crucial at the moment, and also trying to maximise revenue opportunities really.
And how has the change impacted your industry?
So for the consulting industry in general, I think it's definitely caused a bit of a slowdown. It certainly has in the Salesforce ecosystem. We've seen consultancies that have downsized over the last kind of 12 months or so. So it's definitely a tricky time out there. So I think what we're seeing is that actually the kind of inertia within sales, the time that it's taking to close deals, it's quite a bit longer. I think there's a lot more resistance within businesses to want to spend, and perhaps to maybe less so to change things, but certainly to spend money. I think people really are super focused at the moment on the ROI that any technology implementation is going to produce for them. So I think people really want to know that they are definitely going to get the results that they're looking for. So that's certainly something that we've seen. I think also uncertainty. So if you look in terms of our, obviously, we've had a general election, we've had a change of government. We know that there's budgets coming up, and people are concerned around the kind of changes. I think people are worried about what impact that might have in terms of businesses within the UK, investment in the UK, and what entrepreneurs may want to do or not do. I think things like capital gains tax, that's a potential thing that might change. I think businesses just perhaps holding back at the moment and just sort of wanting to see what happens before they commit to plans. So I do feel that once we've got those things out of the way and people know where they are, then I think that we'll kind of move forward. I think also if you look at some of the really large organisations that have had really large cash balances and surpluses within their bank accounts, those businesses in some cases have actually made more money from the interest that they own than actually the business service and revenues. But obviously with interest rates coming down a little bit, and maybe they might come down a bit more, I think some of those businesses now that there's more impetus for them to kind of say, hang on a minute, we can't just sit back and live off this incredible interest. We now need to get focus back onto our business. And I think clearly those are those are the huge multinational businesses. But when that happens, I think that will then drive kind of the market will pick up, and people will start embarking on some more large sort of transformation projects within their businesses. So I think there's various things that are going on where I would like to think that things will improve, businesses will start to change, and looking at some of those really large businesses, the changes that they make and their change in their behaviour will filter down through the market. So I'm hopeful for certainly, I think, into next year. I'd like to think that we're going to see an improvement in things. Also, I think the Salesforce's release of Agentforce could really signal a significant change in the way that people do business, and I think it will strip out quite a large portion of the costs associated with sales and service efforts if it's done well. There is obviously a real focus on AI. Businesses are looking to see how they can leverage it, and I certainly think that if businesses are looking to gain a competitive advantage, how can they further reduce their costs? I think Agentforce and AI is definitely technology that can help them do that. So I think it's really exciting that Salesforce are really at the forefront of this, really kind of pushing the envelope, offering some amazing products with such a pace that you can actually implement these things and start to get benefit from. And I think we're just getting started with this technology. It's going to get better and better and further refined. So I think that's going to be quite a game changer, both for us, but also for the larger ecosystem and consulting and businesses in general.
How would you say it's impacted our internal environment?
So for us, we've taken this as a real opportunity to just kind of take a step back, strategize, reevaluate our strengths, and then look at where we best add value for our customers, and particularly in the context of the economic turbulence that we've just been discussing. So we're really looking at the ways that we can help businesses continue to grow in this time, and really pushing those to the forefront of our brand presence. And we really hope that that's going to help us maintain our position and capitalise on the strengths that we have as a business.
How do we help our clients overcome these challenges?
Ooh, that's a big question. I think when people hear the word Salesforce, they think that it's all about the sell, which naturally is a huge part of it. But the beauty of Salesforce is that we can use it to solve any kind of challenge. We can prevent losses via asset monitoring. We could seal in customer loyalty and repeat purchases through elevated service levels. We can prevent poor decision making by enhancing data connectivity. When external factors cause hesitation as a buyer, you want to be confident that any spend will will generate the ROI that we're looking for and make an improvement to your business. And that's what Salesforce does. It gives you a platform to amplify your value proposition to your customers, and gives them the confidence that they can trust your brand.
What is Salesforce doing to navigate this period?
So Salesforce are restructuring the way they do business. I think they recognise that people want quick wins and solutions that make a great deal of impact and generate ROI really swiftly. So Agentforce is a whole new model for Salesforce. They're also making the essential Salesforce suite available for free for enterprise and above. I think that's because they recognise that businesses' needs and buying behaviours have shifted. Businesses want results and they want them really quickly. So I think really it's Salesforce is just making changes that really help them demonstrate that the value that they're providing their customers. And that's what we do, right? We help businesses survive hard times by innovating and adapting, and we help them thrive when they can invest their time in the right areas for growth.
And finally, what advice would you give to businesses who are concerned about the impact of the economy?
I think I would say that we need to frame it in the right way. So we shouldn't just look at the kind of negative. I think there's always opportunities, where there are financial kind of harder times. And I think also, I think it's in some ways, it's a good thing because it really kind of pushes us as businesses to really look at what we're doing, and we need to make sure that we're standing out against the competition. We need to be being better, and it really kind of, I think, if things are a little bit harder, actually that's a good thing because it makes us improve our businesses, improve our efficiencies, improve our service offering, include improving our product, making sure that we're ahead of the competition. So don't bury your head in the sand, and also don't panic either. I think we're obviously been talking a lot about AI, and everybody's talking about AI. Sometimes it can kind of be overwhelming, but actually I think this is a technology that's going to be really key to staying ahead of the curve, and kind of being better than our competitors, getting ahead of them. And I think what you don't want to do is kind of ignore AI and some of the opportunities that presents to us, because that I think there's a good chance that you could get left behind if we look at some of the statistics around AI and what businesses are expecting to do over the next sort of 3 to 4 years in terms of their investment. There really isn't anybody who is not expecting to invest in these technologies and start deploying them. So I think it's definitely something that you want to get on board. And I think, within boardrooms, certainly, it should be discussed and a strategy needs to be built. So that's not to say perhaps that you're instantly going to deploy some technology, but I think you definitely need to be thinking about that and doing it now. So yeah, I think it's really kind of, take that time to strategize, have a look into your business, drill down into the processes that you've got, and look at how could you leverage that technology, how can you streamline things, how can you improve things, where are the opportunities to do that. And finally, this time will pass. There's always peaks and troughs in the economy. What goes down must come up. We've definitely seen a kind of a post-COVID tech boom, and that was always going to slow down. But there certainly is light at the end of the tunnel, and I think there's a huge amount of opportunity here.